Hello guys, this is the Gaming Revolution here and welcome back to an all new Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War video. Now today is a good day because as you guys know, the beta is scheduled to go live on PlayStation 4 tomorrow, and Treyarch have just released this massive blog post detailing all of the changes to the game since the alpha through to the beta, and my god, the game has done a complete 180. There has been so much that has changed, it is ridiculous. It's basically a new game at this point. They have made that many changes in such a short time period. So I will leave a link to Treyarch's blog post down in this video's description if you want to go ahead and read it for yourself, but let's dive right into it. So in addition to the new maps, modes and features we're bringing to the Black Ops Cold War beta, including VIP Escort, Combined Arms, Assault, Fire Team, Dirty Bomb, FOV Slider on consoles and more, we're also delivering plenty of gameplay enhancements based on player feedback and internal data from the alpha. Yes, that is right, on consoles we are finally getting an FOV slider, which is huge. People have been asking for this for years, but the reason why it hasn't been implemented is because it creates FPS issues on console, and Treyarch have confirmed on Twitter that there might be some frame rate issues on console if you increase your FOV. However, that'll probably just be an issue on PS4 and Xbox One, PS5, and also Xbox Series X should handle that perfectly fine. So yeah, now we're going to be able to adjust FOV. Hopefully we can adjust the FOV in zombies as well, because that is going to be an awesome feature to have in that mode as well. So they said, from updates to core movement and visual fidelity improvements to weapon tuning and spawn adjustments, there's a lot that's changed over the past few weeks. We'd be remiss if we didn't thank you for all of your feedback along the way. It has been invaluable to our team and will ultimately help us continue to improve upon the overall gameplay experience as we approach the November 13th launch. And then they detail all of the changes that they have made to the beta from the alpha. So jumping first into it, we have the movement changes. We've made a large tuning pass on core movement with the goal of improving the responsiveness of player controls and actions. We've identified several key areas in our core movement set for improvements largely focused on sprinting and sliding. So for core movement, they've integrated updated locomotion animations and systems for walking, jogging and sprinting, and they have slightly increased acceleration when moving from a standstill. Now for sprinting, they've reduced or removed several sprint penalties that could leave the player in a state of reduced sprint speed. This results in more opportunities to use the sprint takeoff feature for a quick burst of speed when initiating a sprint. They have also increased the time it takes to ramp down from maximum to minimum sprint speed for a smoother change of speed. This also slightly increases the time at which a player sprints at a faster pace. Furthermore, they have slightly adjusted camera bob during sprint to better align with updated movement animations. They've also disabled field of view increase when sprinting. This should provide a smoother in-game view and prevent a floating camera feeling when sprinting. Now for the sliding changes, they've slightly reduced slide speed. They've also increased the minimum amount of time a player must sprint before sliding to better align with time to reach max sprint speed. This means a player cannot immediately trigger a slide from a near standstill. They have addressed an issue that allows players to cancel a slide without the appropriate slowdown. We will continue to monitor and investigate any slide cancel exploits. Now for the weapons/gunsmith changes. So they've refined our weapons tech and animations since the alpha, completed numerous tuning and tweaking passes on our weapons, and added more details to attachment statistics in Gunsmith. We've also made several positive changes to how sniper rifles work based on alpha data and feedback. So yeah, we're going to get way more details on how the different attachments change the statistics of our weapons and what effects they make, but they have made some drastic changes to snipers as well. As you guys know, they were supposedly too overpowered within the alpha, so what they have said is sniper rifles are a key component of Black Ops combat, and in some ways more relevant than ever in Black Ops Cold War, with support for large maps and game modes, as well as cross-platform play. Sniping can be effective and often an extremely powerful playstyle. To balance out cross-play sniping, we've brought back aim assist for snipers and controllers, something that they have not had since Black Ops 2 multiplayer. Yes, that is right, aim assist for snipers is returning. Now, I'm sure people are going to have very mixed opinions on this. Now, I find this weird because they did say after the alpha they were planning on nerfing the snipers. However, they've brought back aim assist now, so they've probably nerfed how well they actually perform in addition to giving the snipers aim assist now. So I'm not really sure how that's going to play out. We will just have to wait and see, but that's a big change. So they said the data from our alpha proved to us that even without crossplay on all larger maps, sniper rifles were still dominant on smaller maps. As a result, we've made some adjustments to bring them back into balance for the beta and look forward to seeing what the community can do with these finely tuned precision weapons. So maybe they have made some changes to snipers depending on which mode you are on. Maybe they have slightly different statistics. I don't know, we'll just have to wait and see. But they did say, here's the list of changes to weapons and gunsmith statistics. So for gunsmith, they've added more detailed breakdown of statistics for each attachment, explaining in detail how each attachment influences its weapon stats. They've moved the gunsmith UI button closer to the weapon for easier access. For the recoil and firing animations, they've added new weapon recoil systems and firing animations with a comprehensive tuning pass for a revamped weapon firing feel on every weapon for both hipfire and ADS. They have reworked and rebalanced all the recoil patterns, impacting weapon balance and mastery across the board. And they have fully touched up pass on animations across all weapons based on feedback. So I know a big complaint from the alpha was that the weapons and the animations, the reload animations and stuff like that, weren't as good as Modern Warfare. Well, according to this, they've actually changed and tweaked the animations and stuff like that and the recoil patterns. So hopefully people like that better, and hopefully it's a bit closer to Modern Warfare, and I think people are going to be more satisfied, because that was a big graphical complaint that a lot of people had from the alpha. Well, apparently that has been updated. So for the aim down sights ADS changes, so they've added new ADS weapon rendering technology for more realistic ADS perspective. They've smoothed out all ADS in/out transitions. Once again, that's a visual change that's going to make a lot of people happy. For general weapon tuning, they've made tuning changes to alpha weapons that overperformed or underperformed, including increases to the AK-74U recoil and ADS time, increasing LMG, ammo capacity, and more. For attachment tuning, full attachment balance pass to ensure all attachments stay relevant and balanced. For sniper rifles, they've added aim assist on snipers for controller users for cross-platform balancing. Obviously, I have already gone over that, but that's going to be a big change, but it's not going to be for keyboard and mouse, it's just going to be for controllers, so that obviously with crossplay, if you are using a keyboard or a controller, you know, they're going to basically match up against each other fairly, as opposed to, you know, keyboard and mouse being a lot better for accuracy. So they've made several precision aiming adjustments to help the sniping experience feel more fluid. Sniper glint now displays more often and more reliably to help players understand when they are in danger. They've adjusted ADS time on sniper rifles. Sniper rifles now require higher hits on the body for one-hit eliminations, for example, upper chest instead of stomach, or upper arm instead of lower arm. Once again, important changes. So for the frag grenade changes, they've reduced the fuse time on the frag grenade for beta. Throw speed adjustments are targeted for launch. So yeah, there's going to be more changes by the time the game fully releases for grenades that they are planning for. Now, in terms of visuals, as I was saying, a lot of people were complaining about the graphics in the alpha. Apparently, they've made big graphical improvements since the alpha. So they've said we've made several graphical improvements throughout the beta, and we've responded to player feedback about low visibility in some areas of the Miami map. I had this complaint as well. Definitely, it was hard to see enemies at times. With our latest changes, players should be able to spot enemies more clearly on Miami. So for graphics, they've improved graphical fidelity and performance across the board, so frame rates should be a bit better. For lighting/visibility, they've adjusted lighting and character visibility throughout the Miami map for better overall visibility based on feedback. Once again, people are going to be happy. For the audio changes, the audio team has made several crucial improvements to weapon sounds between the alpha and beta, and continues to work on further enhancements for launch. Footstep audio design and its interaction with the ninja perk have also been tuned significantly for players who like to keep quiet and stealthy. So once again, this was a big complaint that even with dead silence, or should I say the ninja perk as it is correctly called in this game, people felt like it was still too loud. Well, they've made changes. So for the weapon audio, they've added bass and punch to all weapon sounds by adjusting master EQ and compression output. They've added 3 presets to audio settings: track mix, bass boost, and high boost to suit player preferences. They've redesigned several weapon audio layers, corrected audio decay playback, and added blending for interior/exterior sounds. Furthermore, they've polished reverb audio across all maps. Now for footsteps, steps. So crouch to walking now functions as a near silent movement option available to all players with or without the ninja perk. So if you go from crouching to walking, you're not really going to be heard. So for ADS, crouch to walking now makes the player's footstep audio even quieter. Enemies should not hear the player when crouching outside of extreme close quarters. While ninja is equipped, core movements such as sprinting, jogging and walking are now greatly reduced in volume and distance by roughly 50% compared to the alpha. A huge change. Now aiming down sight whilst walking will also provide a significant stealth advantage when using ninja. For the hit marker audio, they've added new sounds for fatal and non-fatal hit markers. For score streak audio, they've polished audio for several score streaks, and for spy plane audio, they've reduced the volume of the spy plane's location pings. For the first time in a Black Ops game, spy planes are directional and locational based on where an enemy is when they are swept by the radar, allowing for pinpoint accuracy. As this is a new mechanic, we will continue to monitor and adjust as necessary. Do you know what this means? This means that essentially the spy plane, aka the UAV, is going to work as an advanced UAV or a VSAT or a Blackbird pretty much by default now. Literally by default, you are going to see the direction of where the enemy's moving when the radar swipes them on the minimap. Now this is not going to be as good as a VSAT or a Blackbird because it's not going to be active all the time. It's still going to swipe across the screen, so you're not going to be able to see enemy direction 24/7. It will only be when they swipe as a normal minimap would. This is a massive change, and I find this quite funny because obviously Modern Warfare took away red dots on the minimap prior to getting a UAV. Treyarch have done a complete 180 and they've made it so that you can now see the enemy direction by default with a UAV. This is a massive change. I don't know how this is going to play. I'm guessing they're going to have to tweak it a little bit, but I can't believe they've made this change since alpha. This is a huge change. Now for bullet crack, they've tweaked the bullet crack system to prevent players from hearing sounds when they shouldn't and vice versa. Now for the score streak system, they've increased the score reward for a number of objective based game modes and objective score events to further incentivize playing the objective in the beta. These changes are in service of rewarding players of all playstyles fairly, whether it's the Slayers out in the dunes of Satellite or the OBJ players holding down hard points in the jungles of Cartel. Cartel is the new map that is going to be available in the beta. So the description for this map is: storm a remote Cartel compound where a known Perseus associate is operating in the shadows. Play TDM, kill confirm, domination, combined arms and more on Cartel. So yeah, I'm hoping this map is quite enjoyable. It looks kind of similar to Firing Range from the images. We won't really know until the beta actually releases though. So they've then said, our philosophy acknowledges that players put themselves at considerable risk for playing the objective, and we don't want the risk of losing a streak to decentivize objective play. At the same time, we want to avoid allowing players to game the system by waiting for streaks to build up before capturing objectives. This is why objectives don't count in streak multipliers. As we continue to gather data and feedback on the new streak system, score streak system and kill streaking mechanics, the changes below reward objective players and require Slayers to stick to their role more carefully to ramp their score up. We recognize that there are hybrid styles that achieve both, and this system rewards players for the playstyle they gravitate to the most. So for the score streak system, objective score rewards have been increased in domination, kill confirmed and hardpoint. These changes will reward any objective player and do not require or reward objective streaking. Adjusted score streak rewards to reduce score streak spam and make score streaks more rewarding. Players will need to go on higher streaks in a single life to earn top tier score streaks. The curve has been flattened out on the low end and ramps up quickly as the player earns higher kill streak numbers. They've reduced score streak cooldowns to offset these changes and allow players to cycle through score streaks more often. For spawns, they've made a lot of changes. They felt it took too long to get into the action in 6v6 game modes on Miami. To address this, the design team has adjusted the spawns and spawn logic across multiple modes to ensure a faster time to engagement on the map. So for Miami, full spawn pass for TDM and kill confirm modes on Miami with the goal of reducing the time to engagement and increasing overall pace of 6v6 modes. Spawn at the ends of the map have been pulled in closer. They've added new spawns to get players back into the fight faster, and they have adjusted spawn logic to reduce the distance at which an enemy player will influence the enemy's team's spawn points. On Moscow, they've added spawns across several modes to allow for more safe spawns in relation to enemy player locations at the time of a respawn. For Armada, they've reduced how often players can be spawned at the rear of their home ship to reduce travel time back to engagements. For Crossroads, they've adjusted combined arms, domination spawn logic and spawn placement to keep players spawning closer to their owned objectives, reducing time to engagement and getting players back into the action faster. For Satellite, they've adjusted spawn logic to allow for slightly easier spawn flipping in certain modes instead of a team becoming spawn trapped for an extended period. For vehicles changes, vehicle versus infantry combat is a dynamic we work hard to balance out for both parties. We've made substantial adjustments for this combat loop in the beta and will continue to dial this in for launch. So for vehicle damage tuning, they've reworked the bullet damage mitigation model for tanks to provide a more consistent experience across weapon classes. This fixes issues where some guns seemed inordinately more powerful against vehicles than others. They've adjusted the Cavalry Lancer weapon attachment to be more consistent across weapons, especially on LMGs. We will continue to keep a close eye on this tuning for launch. Now for tanks, they've reduced tank health to make launchers and C4 more effective counters, and they have reduced the deadlines of the tank shell splash damage. So yeah, a lot of people complained in the alpha that tanks were too powerful, so they've made a lot of adjustments to take them out easier. Now for bug fixes. So for character models, they've addressed an issue where a player disconnecting from the match during the loading sequence could result in that player's character displaying an unnatural pose at the start of the game. For the AK-74U, the reload animations will no longer appear to skip. For the RCXD, called in the Fun Police to address an issue that allowed players to ride around on a teammate's RCXD. Sorry. Why? That was an awesome feature. I don't know why they have changed that. That should be a feature. It doesn't make any sense why they've removed that. Anyways, for Gunboat and Wake Runner, they fixed an issue where Wake Runners being deployed from a ship's davits could cause the gunboat to be flung into the ocean. Now for motion blur, they've addressed an issue where the motion blur setting would not properly retain its setting. So as you guys know, in the alpha, when you would disable motion blur, it would come back on the next game, so I'm glad they've fixed that. Now for Moscow window, they've addressed an issue where a player could become stuck when sliding through a window in Moscow. For mantling, they've tuned mantling at tall heights to ensure they are performed at a more natural speed. When necessary, map designs will be updated to restrict areas where mantling is not intended. So they've addressed an issue that could allow players to begin moving before the match countdown timer had ended. For invisible weapons, they've addressed an issue that could display an invisible third weapon when exiting a vehicle, preventing the player from being able to use any of their weapons. For the after action report, they've addressed an issue that would show incorrect scoreboards in the after action report. For stability, they've addressed various stability issues encountered during the alpha. Now for additional updates / features, they've added a ping system, and this is going to be huge. They've added a locational ping system across all multiplayer modes, allowing players to ping objectives, loot, locations, and enemies for teammates during a match using the D-pad's left button on controllers or Z on keyboards by default. Alternate button layouts like bumper ping and bumper ping tactical can be selected in the gameplay settings menu. So this is a feature we have in Warzone Battle Royale, but now it's coming over to multiplayer. And it has me wondering, is this going to be a feature in zombies as well? Because this is going to be a huge feature if we can ping items in zombies. It's going to be huge. And I definitely think it could also tie into the Easter egg. It could definitely be useful for that. So I'm hoping this is in zombies as well. So as I said earlier, there is now an FOV slider on all platforms. I've already gone over this. They've added HUD visual toggles. So they've added the ability to toggle visuals for the compass, enemy and ally health bars, hit markers, crosshairs, player names, and button hints in settings. So you can literally customize the HUD how you want. You can remove things that you don't want, that you don't think are necessary. Once again, I wonder how this is going to play out within zombies, because a lot of people didn't like Black Ops 4's zombies' HUD. So if we're able to adjust the HUD and change it how we want in zombies, that is going to be awesome. Hopefully we see this in Warzone as well. Now for nameplates, they've adjusted the rule set around when friendly player names would show to reduce instances where friendly nameplates would appear over enemies in certain situations. For dead zone / minimum input threshold, they've expanded the options to reduce minimum stick input threshold or dead zone to 0. Once again, a huge feature. They are changing things like crazy. Note, setting this to 0 is only recommended for advanced users. Depending on controller hardware, setting this to lower values can cause stick drift, which can engage the stick even when no input is given. So for kill confirmed, our data from alpha showed that kill confirmed was ending on time limit too frequently in the alpha. I noticed this as well, so we've reduced the score limit to 65 for the beta. Honestly, it's because the maps are just too big. I think they should probably just shrink down the maps a little bit for these modes. I think that would be a bit better than just lowering the limit. Anyways, they have also enabled the ability for players to rotate their operator, swap weapons, ADS, and changes stances during the pre-round timer. So in the lobby, you're going to be able to do all of that. For progression, now this is huge. We'll be introducing a deep progression system synchronized across multiplayer, zombies, and Warzone that deserves its own time in the spotlight, and we'll have more details in a dedicated blog as we get closer to launch. While players won't see this full progression system in the beta, you'll be able to rank up to certain levels to unlock additional content throughout both beta weekends. So there's going to be a new ranking system that's going to be integrated across all modes, Warzone, multiplayer, zombies, inside of Black Ops Cold War. Now, I am really hoping this is a cool system. I don't know what it is, but it's not prestiging, it's not seasonal ranking, so maybe it's a mix of seasonal ranking and the prestige system. Maybe they have been mixed together to create some sort of new ranking system, but there is a new ranking system coming to Black Ops Cold War. We are going to be able to level up within the beta, but it's just going to be standard ranking. We're not really going to get to see this new ranking system, so we'll have to find out about that at a later date. But if you reach level 10, you can unlock an exclusive blueprint on launch inside of Black Ops Cold War, and if you just play the beta, you also unlock the Adler character inside of Call of Duty Mobile. They have also said that the new map Cartel has a 12v12 and also a 6v6 version, both of which will be in the beta. Also, this is another huge piece of information. So Black Ops Cold War's larger maps, Armada and Crossroads that we saw in the alpha, will also have 6v6 versions available at launch. So basically, all of the maps seem to be having different player count variants, so it means that we're going to be seeing more 6v6 maps, which is good. Some maps will just be 6v6, but a lot of the maps that are larger player counts, 24 players, seem like they're going to be available in 6v6 and also larger player counts such as 12v12. So this is good news because it means that we're not going to have two little 6v6 maps. That was a bit of a problem in Modern Warfare on launch because of all the ground war maps. It means that this is going to be a good compromise. Now, I am excited for the Fireteam Dirty Bomb mode that we're going to be seeing in the beta. I believe the maps for this are actually taken from the new Warzone map. I'll play the clip from the initial Black Ops Cold War multiplayer reveal to learn about this mode, but yeah, this is a larger player count mode of 40 players. I'll let you enjoy that now. Thank you for watching and enjoy.
This new format of multiplayer brings together everything that we loved about making Cold War and everything you'll love about playing Cold War. Across every Fireteam mission and mode, you'll discover some of the most imaginative game loops we have ever designed. The Fireteam format allows us to emphasize teamwork and reward creativity, and it allows you to do things you've never done in Black Ops multiplayer before. You'll fight in squads of 4 called Fireteams. You'll deploy into larger maps, play fast, pushing through multiplayer objectives and modes that demand quick thinking. The action won't just affect you, but the environment you battle in. Enter Fireteam Dirty Bomb, one of the most unique game loops we've ever imagined. You and your team must search for uranium. Then, deliver that uranium to Dirty Bombs positioned around the map. Deposit uranium and detonate the bomb. Now, avoid radioactive fallout as you navigate a toxic battlefield. Every decision you make impacts your survival rate and your success rate. We can't wait to tell you even more about Fireteam Dirty Bomb and the other Fireteam modes and maps in the weeks ahead.